Let's talk about bulletproof weight loss strategies that will not only help you to lose all the weight you want, but also will help you to keep it off for the rest of your life. Welcome back to my channel. I am Sylvia and I'm a carnivore diet coach. This video will be outside of my typical carnivore diet content because I am hoping to reach broader audience. As a society, we need to get healthy, and for that we need to lose weight. And to do this, we need to eat ancestrally appropriate diet. So here we go. Start by eliminating snacking. Stick to 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and nothing in between. Each time you eat something, you stimulate insulin. And each time you stimulate insulin, it is this much more difficult to lose weight and get healthy. So if you can have just 3 insulin releases, down from 6 to 7, that's good. Our ancestors did not have 24-hour access to food. In fact, they had to go hungry most of the day until they hunted something, brought it home, and made a meal out of it. You should not be snacking. That is indicated by our evolution. And on the other note, most of the snacks available are ultra-processed, highly sugary carbohydrates. This is a metabolic disaster for your pancreas. Next step, take a look at what you are drinking. It should be mostly clean, filtered water. That is all. Now, if you're drinking coffee, fine, tea, okay, as long as you make it yourself or get it from good sources, but don't add any creamers that are artificial, sugars, or sweeteners. Drink it without sugar, drink it without sweeteners. Now, if you are a confirmed sugar addict and you'll be suffering a lot by giving up on anything, so you need some sort of a crutch, okay, fine, do a stevia extract or monk fruit extract, but do it temporary and only as a crutch, something that you know that you will give up in the end. The objective of a healthy diet is not to be dependent on this constant sugary stimulation. It is just not good for our health. When it comes to water, don't overdo it. I see people carrying these gargantuous bottles of water and drinking water all day long. This is not a good weight loss strategy. Neither it is healthy for you. In fact, you will not be more hydrated by drinking this much water. In fact, you will be dehydrated because you simply don't have this many electrolytes to bind all that water into your body. So you will be peeing it out and recruiting electrolytes from within your body to get rid of all that excess water. And on the other note, if you cut out all the carbohydrates, you won't need that much water. You will be producing your own metabolic water. Those of you that like to drink sodas or fizzy drinks in other parts of the world will ask me about those healthy alternatives, those bubbly things that have prebiotics, probiotics, antioxidants, superfood concoctions in it, are fermented. Let me tell you something. Yes, they may be better than good old Coca-Cola, but the nutritional value of something that is mass-produced and shipped halfway around the world to get it to you is negligible, if any. But you will surely pay a lot of money for it. So the best choice is really water. Better yet, get your own water filter and drink that. But if you really need a sparkling drink to get through the day, then drink mineral water or seltzer. That's good enough and a good substitute for sodas. Now let's talk about your proteins, because you'll be eating a lot of them, and they should all come from mostly red meat. Yes, I said it. I know it's controversial, but give it a try. The thing with red meat is not only the macros of proteins, but other nutrients make you really satiated and help you managing cravings. And this is really important when it comes to weight loss. And now here's the hierarchy of proteins for you. First, the top, the best of the best, is beef, lamb, and pork. Then fish, chicken, eggs, and then whey proteins, milk, dairy. That's the order. And you should be really focusing on the number one, the red meat. So if you have a choice of drinking protein shake or eating steak and eggs, always go for steak and eggs. And while we're staying on the controversial topics, let's carry on. Let's talk about fats because you'll be eating animal saturated fats. These are the type of fats that our ancestors ate, and this is what is appropriate evolutionarily for you. You will lose tons of weight and you will get healthier by eating tallow, lard, butter, and if you really want to go fancy, duck fat. Always fry, saute, cook in animal fats, not the plant alternatives. There are not fats, there are oils. Luckily, it is easier to talk about this these days because the heart healthy seed oils, aka vegetable oils, are becoming more and more known for actually not being this healthy for us and causing a lot of metabolic issues. Now, the next step for most people is to turn to olive oil or coconut oil. And guess what? They're made from plants and there are also oils. They're not fats. And whether we like it or not, we evolved eating animal fats. So if you want to be healthy, lose weight, and eat a diet that is evolutionarily appropriate for you, stick with animal saturated fats. By now, you probably know where I'm going with my diet. It's a version of very low carbohydrate diet, but I'm myself on the carnivore diet, but it's not necessary to be on the carnivore diet to lose weight. But if you restrict your carbohydrates severely, you will lose tons of weight. So the question gets to be what kind of vegetables you should be eating. And when it comes to weight loss, stick with those that are low carbs, low starch. So things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. I will just ask you to avoid all those leafy greens. If you have to have a salad, make it a Greek type salad with tomatoes, cucumbers, some onions, and feta cheese. Don't eat all those kales and other leaves. We didn't evolve eating this stuff, and it is extremely high in oxalates and lectins and not very digestible. You know, and the puzzling thing about eating of the leafy greens is that it is fashionable to eat it raw, things like kale, which my grandmother would feed to a rabbit or a horse. But if she really had to eat it, she would cook it really well to neutralize all those lectins and oxalates. Because it doesn't matter how nutritious those plants may be, if they're wrapped in anti nutrients and indigestible fiber, your body can't make use of it. So why eat them in the first place? They're really not healthy for human consumption. And so here's the challenge for people that struggle with weight loss despite trying many different diets. They eat vegetables, and if they are unhealthy to begin with, they likely have some level of gut permeability, in other words, leaky gut. And so those lectins from vegetables, which are plant proteins, travel around the body, attach to the insulin receptors, and your body gets a sense that it is insulin resistant, so it keeps storing more fat. And people that face that kind of situation, when they cut out vegetables from their diet, end up losing all the weight they need to lose. Now, I'm not saying it is a must to quit vegetables in order to lose weight, but there is a group of us that are sensitive to vegetable lectins, and if you need to lose weight, you might have to quit vegetables as well. Now, for vast majority, if you eat mostly animal saturated fats, animal proteins, and then just a little bit of cooked vegetables, not the leafy greens, you will lose all the weight you need to lose. Similarly to vegetables, dairy proteins are also difficult to digest for some of the people, and they also can block insulin receptors. So if you've done everything possible with the diet and you can't lose those last 10, 15 pounds, cut out dairy and see what happens. In all likelihood, you will lose the rest of the weight that you need to lose. And you know, it is worth mentioning while we are talking about health and diet that there are so many people that have difficulties tolerating of dairy, and not only from the weight loss perspective. Dairy can cause so many different skin issues, runny nose, seasonal allergies, bloating, and we never really pay attention to it because nowadays we're just used to being sick after what we eat. But if you cut out dairy, you might notice all sorts of unpleasant symptoms might just go away. Let me add a few words about fruit. When it comes to weight loss, fruit is not your friend. when you get to the weight you want to maintain, you might be able to introduce some fruit back. Now, if you're working out, fruit is great at rebuilding of glycogen, but when it comes to weight loss, you are better off to stay away from fruit. All right, let's talk about coffee because half the world loves to drink it. And the good news is that when it comes to weight loss, coffee is your friend. It boosts your metabolism, and that's mostly thanks to caffeine. But don't drink your coffee with all those artificial creamers and tons of sugar. If you have to drink coffee and you enjoy it, drink it black, organic, preferably made at home by yourself. But if you have to get it on the go, then stick with the plain black coffee from good sources. So let me tell you what a sample day of eating should look like. Breakfast, let's say 3 scrambled eggs and few strips of bacon, or maybe a burger patty and 2 to 3 eggs. Here you go, you're done. Lunch, steak and eggs, or maybe steak and a small salad, but preferably things like tomato, cucumber, onion, maybe some mushroom, and feta cheese. That's it. Dinner, sausages, maybe pork chops, maybe lamb chops. Eat to satiety, and don't worry about calorie counting. You should not be feeling hungry all the time. And so here it is, your perfect diet to lose all the weight you want, but you will also get a lot healthier and you'll be able to keep your weight off for the rest of your life. But most importantly, it is a diet that our ancestors ate. It is an evolutionary appropriate way of eating. So you'll be eating mostly red meat with animal saturated fats, with some low carbohydrate vegetables, and then on maintenance, you might be able to introduce some fruit, but not too much. You'll be drinking some tea, some coffee without sugars and creamers, and then water. This is a perfect diet for weight loss and maintenance, and it's healthy. All right, so this will do it for this week's video. This is a carnivore diet inspired way of eating. I did carnivore diet for the last 5 years and I'm sticking with it. It got me out of a lot of health issues, but if you just want to lose weight, this is good enough, and it is also very, very healthy. Okay, if you haven't yet, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.